If there's one sauce that has a reputation for being difficult, a sauce that strikes fear into the hearts of chefs everywhere, it's Hollandaise. Now Hollandaise, just like mayonnaise, is a fat and water emulsion. Normally when you mix together fat and water, the fat's going to separate and float on top of the water in a greasy layer. But the key to a successful emulsion is to break that fat up into droplets so tiny that they stay evenly dispersed, causing the liquid to thicken and turn opaque. Traditionally, the way that you do this is by whisking together egg yolks and lemon juice in a double boiler until they're hot and frothy, and then slowly whisking in butter in a thin and steady stream. As you whisk, the butter breaks into minute droplets, while the egg yolk acts as an emulsifier, helping to keep those droplets evenly dispersed and thickening the sauce. What you get is a creamy, smooth sauce with a rich texture and mild flavor that's perfect for vegetables, fish, and eggs. But there's a lot of ways it can go wrong. If you don't whisk fast enough, or if you add your butter too fast, the sauce will end up greasy and broken. If you don't cook your eggs enough, it won't thicken properly, but if you cook them too much, you end up with broken scrambled eggs. The fact of the matter is, if you want to learn how to do it the traditional way, the road to perfect Hollandaise is paved in broken sauces. But here's the good news. There's an alternative method that is completely foolproof, produces a Hollandaise that's every bit as good as the traditional version, and takes about a minute start to finish. All you need is a small pot, a glass measuring cup, and a hand blender with a cup that barely fits its head. We start by combining an egg yolk, a teaspoon of water, a teaspoon of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt in the bottom of a blender cup. Next, we melt a stick of butter on the stovetop until it's completely hot and bubbling. It should register about 220 degrees Fahrenheit with an instant read thermometer. Pour that butter into a glass measuring cup. Now all we've got to do is stick the hand blender into the cup, start it running, and then slowly drizzle in our butter. As the hot butter hits the eggs, they start to cook. By the time you've added all of your butter, about 30 seconds later, the eggs are fully cooked and you've got a smooth, creamy, hot Hollandaise sauce that is completely indistinguishable from one made using the traditional whisking method. Hollandaise is at its best right when you make it, but if you want to store it, your best bet is to keep it in a small, lidded pot in a warm spot somewhere near your stove. Just make sure that you use it within a couple of hours. Food Lab signing out.
What's good, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Smoking and Grilling with me, AB. Now you guys read the title, so you know what I'm making. Listen, I'm getting ready to show you guys just how easy it is to make a creamy smothered chicken. Super easy. Listen, you guys can serve this over a bed of rice. You know what? It's all about that gravy, right? So once you got that, or you can serve it alongside. I really wanted to say like on top of some mashed potatoes, but listen, this is one of them easy meals where like if you live in that busy lifestyle, you come home from work, all you gotta do is like prep this, get it in the oven, you know what, go ahead, do your thing, shower, relax, and then by the time you get through doing that, you can pull this out and listen, you got dinner done. Hey, so with that being said, I'm not gonna over talk it. We finna get right into it, so let's get it. All right, let's go over the ingredients. Here, I got 8 chicken thighs, you know, bone in with the skin on. Today I'm gonna be using extra virgin olive oil. This is what I'm gonna be doing, you know, I'm gonna use this in my cast iron skillet so that we can go ahead and, you know, brown this. And then right here we got salt and pepper. 2 cups, look, this is 2 cups of chicken stock. We got a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Here, we got 1 teaspoon of paprika. Here, this is a half a teaspoon of chili powder. Right here, we got 2 teaspoons of oregano. Here, we have a half a teaspoon. Now listen, this is up to you. You guys can use a pinch. I elected to go up to a half a teaspoon of red crushed peppers. We got 2 teaspoons of granulated, you know, this is granulated onion. And then we got 2 teaspoons, now listen, this is 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. 2 tablespoons of salted butter. And then here, I got 1 onion. This is like a, I'm gonna call this like a small onion. This is a yellow onion. Listen, we just gonna chop this. We're gonna give this a rough chop. Okay, look, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna preheat my oven. Let's see, we're gonna preheat it to 425 degrees. Now we're getting ready to prep everything. Okay, what I did was, I didn't record this part, just so you guys can see. I went ahead and chopped down that onion. You can see just these kind of slices. You know what I mean? Just, when I say rough chop, any kind of way you want to, you don't want to do a dice because we're going to put this in the gravy, right? So, now, get yourself a small bowl, and what you want to do is, you want to go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to add our paprika, or oregano, chili powder, and our granulated onions. So, we'll just put all this in here like this. I just got myself a little small whisk. We just want to get it together, you know, mix it all up. And I'm gonna show you why we're gonna mix it up here. Even though we're gonna use it later, but we're gonna use a few pinches of this in just 1 second. Now, after that's done, what you wanna do is get yourself a large, a large bowl, right? So, I'm gonna go ahead and just add a couple of pieces of this chicken in here, right? Then we're just gonna take our hand and we're just gonna use a few pinches. We just wanna season this up. Then we're gonna add a couple of more. Season this like this. We're gonna mix it around. You just wanna make sure you get it coated. Then let me go ahead and wash my hands. Now what I'm getting ready to do is, I'm gonna add a couple of dashes of this kosher salt. And then some fresh ground pepper. Now you just want to get in here, move them around. Make sure that you have some on the undercarriage, the under bottom of of your thighs. Then if you feel like you need to add some more, you can. This flavor profile, and you can see, let me just bring it up here. Hope you guys can see that. You can see that it transfers, just perfect. Sometimes, we can over season if we don't have to, we just leave it like it is. But I'm liking what I see is transferring to each individual piece, nicely. I will just give it one little, and then we're gonna let this sit up just like this, right? So, it should look like that. We'll set this off to the side. Now, you wanna get yourself another bowl. Then you wanna go ahead and add your flour, and then the remainder of your seasonings, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and add some ground pepper to it also. And we're gonna give it a couple of pinches of salt. Now go ahead and get yourself a whisk, or however you wanna do it. We can do it old school. You can get yourself a bag. We can do it, that old school shake and bake, however you wanna do it. But, you know what, I just answered a comment also. Somebody was asking me about, will it be too salty if you season both the flour and the flour and your chicken, right? But I'm gonna say, listen, if you want great tasting chicken, you want the flavor to be throughout, you gotta do both, your meat and your flour. Now, got that done, right? So now, what we wanna do is we wanna take one of our pieces of chicken and we wanna get it coated, right? Once you got it coated, then we're gonna shake it off. You guys know the drill, super easy. You know what I mean? Pretty much, it's all the same. We just take it, shake it like this, then we put it on the sheet. Get yourself another one. And all you gotta do is, repeat till this is done. Cause listen, we're gonna cook this in our pan, right? And I said earlier I was gonna be using my cast iron, but I'm not. You know what, I'm gonna use another pan. I'm gonna use an induction pan that I have that's ready to go. So what we wanna do now is, what you wanna do is you wanna go ahead as you're doing this, so you can, it's about multitasking, right? What we're gonna do is, we're gonna take it, we're gonna put a little bit of our olive oil in our pan, and we're gonna start bringing that up to temp. Or we just want to get some in here, enough just to coat this bottom. Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna sort of fry the chicken, and then we're gonna put a lid over the top. Let me get my lid so you guys can see. Listen, we're only gonna do it for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Now, once this comes up to temp, then we're gonna go ahead and put our chicken in here. And again, we're gonna do it 4 to 5 minutes on each side. All right, now that it is up to temp, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the skin side down. Then what we wanna do is we wanna go ahead and put our lid on the top, and we're gonna let it cook. I'm gonna set a timer for 4 minutes, and then we're gonna come and, we're gonna look at it and see, determine if we wanna go a little longer. Now what we want to do is just go ahead and look at the bottom of it. You can see I'm going to let it go 1 more minute. Now, this has been a total of 5 minutes. What we want to do is we're just going to go ahead and flip it over. Now remember, we don't want to cook this all the way, right? We're just browning the top, getting a little bit of, cook time done on it. We're going to cover it again, and we're going to go for another 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes is up. What we want to do is we're going to take this off, put it on our baking sheet, and then we're going to continue to do the rest of our chicken, and then we'll move over to the next step. Now, once you got your chicken done, now you want to go ahead and just add your onions. Then we're just going to cook these down, maybe for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, it's been about 4 minutes. Look, we're going to go ahead and add our minced garlic, but we're going to be quick with it, right? We're only going to move this around for about 1 minute. Our crushed peppers. Now we're going to add our butter. And then once we get our butter melted, right, then it'll be time to, add that flour. Now you want to go ahead and add a couple of tablespoons of your seasoned flour that was left over. Just a little bit more. And then what you want to do is you just want to give it a whisk. You want to keep it moving, right? You want to cook down this flour taste first. So it's okay, just keep it moving. Make sure you don't see any white. This should take just a couple of minutes. Just keep moving it like this. After we get through cooking this out, we're gonna start introducing our chicken stock. You can use chicken stock, chicken broth, whatever you guys find at your market, whatever your preference is, either or. Now remember, look, the key is you gotta keep that whisk moving, right? So as it starts to heat up, you'll see it starting to get lumpy. Once it starts to do that, now it's time to introduce our chicken stock. So what you wanna do is you just wanna pour it in, slowly, just, in small increments as you see that I'm doing there. And then once you got it, incorporated, and it's starting to flow good, then you can go ahead and pour the rest of it in there. And then once it comes back up to temp, then it'll be time for you to add your heavy whipping cream. And as you see, you can look at my right arm, right there at my hand. Listen, I never stop moving with that whisk. So you just want to keep going round and around and keep blending it. And that right there is the key to getting it creamy. So once that's done and you got that cooked, then you go ahead and introduce, your chicken. Now, go ahead and get yourself a spoon and just start, spooning some on top of your chicken, so that it can just like soak in there and soak into that skin. And listen, when I tell you it's gonna be moist, that's what it's gonna be. Now, go ahead and add your, your top, and then what you want to do is you want to put it in the oven. Listen, it's already been preheated for 425 degrees, right? And after 1 hour, this is what we come up with right there. Look, when I take this top off, tell me what you guys think about that there. Super easy. You could just see how delicious it is, just the way it is right there, right? So again, I just go ahead and I get my spoon and I just start spooning some of the gravy right over the top. Now you can get yourself, some parsley. Go ahead and dice it up real fine, and then go ahead and put that on top for some garnish. To add some green to it. And as you can see, look how moist that is right there. Let me show you guys. Let me get it right up close for you. So tell me what you guys think about this one here. You know what, just super easy. You can see when I cut it, how tender the chicken is. Listen, it got a chance to cook and be smothered in that gravy. I want to let you know right now, I done already sampled that gravy. And listen, it's fire, folks. Hey, so listen, I'm gonna go ahead, take a bite. I didn't try the chicken. I don't need to, but here we go. I already know what this is gonna taste like. Oh man. I'm gonna just say this right now, that you guys be careful. Listen, this right here causes you to overeat. Hey, so listen, if you're looking for a Southern comfort, a Southern style, meal, this is it right here. Hey, have your pillow ready, because you might need it. It's time for night-night, folks. Hey, so with that being said, hey, listen, if you're new to my channel, let me just say, hey, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe and tell everybody out there there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And if you've been watching me for a minute, you know how I'm finna end this one, folks. Peace.